An inclusive learning model is the foundation of a thriving society. Yet, our existing educational systems often fall short of meeting the needs of diverse learners. Cognitive education, tailored to the needs of diverse learner, is not just beneficial, it is essential. By recognizing and addressing unique cognitive profiles of each student, we can create an inclusive and effective educational landscape where every learner can thrive to their full potential. To learn more about this, let us listen to Dr. Onita Nakra, an educational psychologist of global eminence from Dubai and the author of several books on the subject, one of them being Children and Learning Difficulties. She's a thought and practice leader in this niche arena. Due to personal exigencies, she was not able to make it to the conference. However, here's a short clipping providing us with a glimpse of her thoughts on cognitive education for diverse learners, the missing piece.
My prayerful Sairam to everyone attending this wonderful conference. Dearest Swami, delegates, honorable members of the Sri Sathya Sai Trust, members of Vidya Vahini, and distinguished speakers. I'm sure it has been a wonderfully inspiring 3 days for everyone attending this conference. The topics reflect current areas of need and also point to future directions that special education must take. Over the last few years, the phrase neurodiversity has replaced descriptors such as autism, ADHD, learning disability, intellectual delays, and so on. The phrase neurodiversity suggests that these differences are natural and should be accepted as part of the spectrum of human experience. To transfer this philosophy into the classroom asks a lot from the classroom teacher. Educators recognize that providing a differentiated curriculum to neurodiverse students is not always easy. One challenge is the curriculum. A bigger challenge is changing one's own mindset. Breaking away from traditional approaches to teaching and learning can be really difficult unless one has a framework within which to work. Vidya Vahini's work has been phenomenal in helping teachers create digital lessons that are of practical use in the classroom. But going one step further, I suggest that teachers should add cognitive education to their teaching methods as a first step towards recognizing the capacity of the brain to grow, or what is termed as neuroplasticity. All students can benefit when instruction is aimed at improving their capacity to think critically and use higher order thinking skills. Dr. Louis Fallick writes, all human beings have the potential to be modified in the structure of their cognition. And then he goes on to say, we have to uncover the potential for modifiability in individuals who have been low functioning or have been considered to be unable to make changes. These two statements testify to a very important belief. The belief that every child has the potential to learn if provided with the right kind of experience. Meeting the needs of all learners is a challenging task. IQ has for many years been thought of as something fixed, unchangeable, just a number. To say that even the neurodiverse learner can participate in a permanent, enduring, and stable state of modifiability is a very powerful acknowledgement that all learners can have access to growth. How is this even possible? The two approaches that I want to present to you today is just an overview, is cognitive education, and something that Reuven Forrestein and his team have called mediated learning experience, or MLE. For a very long time, you may be surprised to know, the students with learning disabilities, autism, or intellectual delays were considered to be incapable of learning cognitive skills. Teachers focused on simplifying the curriculum, reducing complex math problems into simple ones, for example, making the vocabulary simpler, and so on. But if we truly want neurodiverse learners to benefit from an inclusive education, making superficial changes to the curriculum is not enough. We all have to subscribe to the philosophical belief that all learners can learn, that intelligence is not a fixed score, it can be changed and modified. Hence the term neuroplasticity, and the belief that the brain has the ability to make new neural connections throughout life in response to experiences. Cognitive education is a relatively new approach and differs from education with a content curriculum in goals, methods, and content. The goal is essentially learning to learn. The methods are actual problem-solving experiences and strategy use, and the content is the set of cognitive skills. So it's process-oriented. It focuses on skills like analysis, comparison, analytical perception, synthesis, and so on. A cognitive skill, and I really want to highlight this point made by Professor Reuven Forrestein, a cognitive skill is more than just a strategy. It is an internalized, coordinated set of actions in terms of which we elaborate upon information received from external and internal sources. And this is a wonderful picture here of Professor Reuven Forrestein with a student with Down syndrome. So what exactly is meant by cognitive education? Cognitive education can be described as a set of classroom activities in which the teacher explicitly focuses student attention on generic and transferable cognitive skills. The goal is learning to learn, to have students learn generalized modes of perception, thought, learning, and problem solving. And the contents are the thought processes themselves, fundamental cognitive operations, rules, and strategies, rather than specific contents from academic subjects like science, social studies, and so on. Professor Forrestein has developed the theory of cognitive modifiability, where he places the teacher as a mediator in the central role. This term is a unique descriptor of the teacher's role in shaping the way the child perceives the world. The environment is actually filtered to the learner through the teacher as mediator. The learner is thereby modified through a process called mediated learning experience, or MLE. Forrestein's model of mediated learning experience is presented here. It's actually a little adaptation. It's very well known and researched. The H stands for the human element, the teacher or the adult, who acts like a filter between the environment and the learner. The learner is represented by the letter O, or the organism. The S stands for the stimulus, or the environment in this case, and the R is the response. The teacher is responsible, therefore, both for the way the child gathers information and responds to it. This is a truly dynamic model of learning and teaching. Unfortunately, my time today is limited, so I cannot elaborate further on this model of learning, but I really wanted to give all of you a taste of what a cognitive model of learning looks like. Mediation elicits a triangulation effect, changing the mediator, the teacher, the learner, and the task. And this theory has a very special significance for special education, because now it says that cognitive function is a function of the instructional procedures used by the teachers as much as task and performance factors. Just a quick summary over here. The teacher is the filter, and therefore the teacher's role has to be intentional. The teacher brings meaning to encourage comprehension to the task, helps the learner transcend the skills or apply them and generalize them to other areas of life and learning, and the teacher builds competence so that the student becomes an independent learner. In conclusion, I'm going to leave you now with a set of questions. How do cognitive structural changes occur? How can teachers be effective in this process? How can teachers use new approaches to teaching and learning of cognitive skills in their classroom? What are these skills? And finally, I want to end by saying that unlocking learning potential remains just a phrase on paper unless we all work together to put it into action. We need skills and tools to help neurodiverse learners in the classroom. And if you really want to know the answers to these questions, please join us for the next conference scheduled for June 2025. The theme of our next conference is called Cognitive Education for Diverse Learners, the missing piece. The dates are June 25th, 26th, 27th, 2025. I hope all of you will be there. We have a lot of learning ahead of us as yet. Finally, once more, I'd like to thank the organizers of this conference for giving me this time. Thanks to Swami and to the Sri Satya Sai Trust for taking the initiative of organizing a conference and the next one of such immense value. Thank you.
We thank Dr. Onita for providing us with ample food for thought that we can continue to reflect upon until we meet again in 2025. The MLE theory has special significance for special needs learning. We have a promise that she'll be here in person to present next year. यही कोशिश रहेगी हमारी कि फिर एक नया सवेरा लेके आए हम, उल्लास भरे दिल से सबकी सेवा कर पाए हम. चलो मिलकर आज करें एक वादा प्यारा, चलो चलो मिलकर आज करें एक वादा प्यारा, हर दिव्यांग का बनाए जीवन यारा. Do we think this as a promise, or will there be a movement to turn this new beginning into reality? Well, let's find out. I am thrilled to ask you all to save some dates, which Dr. Onita also mentioned, in your calendar for next year, June 25, 26, and 27. Let me repeat, June 25, 26, 27, 2025. This National Education Summit has been about cognitive education for diverse learners and has laid the foundation for more expansive global conference in 2025. We will now be watching a video to learn more about what lies ahead, the curtain riser.
Imagine a classroom where all types of learners thrive together. That's the vision coming to life next year, right here. Welcome to the International Conference on Cognitive Education for Diverse Learners, the Missing Piece. Join us from June 25, 26, 27, 2025 in the Abode of Peace, Prashanti Nilayam, where education meets innovation. Hosted at the state-of-the-art Sai Hira Global Convention Center, this event will witness a confluence of educators, researchers, and policymakers dedicated to transforming education for diverse learners. Over 2.5 days of the Sri Sathya Sai Vidya Vahini Global Education Summit on inclusive education, come and experience dynamic workshops, keynote addresses, and panel discussions led by the leading voices in cognitive education. Engage in enriching sessions that explore the cutting-edge research and practical strategies for enhancing cognitive education across diverse learning environments.
And I'm looking forward to being invited to be a keynoter at the conference that is coming to us next year in India. And through the presentation that I'm looking forward to making at this conference and the implications and the discussions we can have about this gives us a tremendous optimism to overcome the whole and complete range of functions and the enhancement of human potential. And so I am looking forward to being with you and hope that we will have a wonderful opportunity to expand the potential of our abilities to help people to achieve. Thank you.
Greetings, my friends in India. I'm Dr. Jeannie Zaire from Fort Wayne, Indiana, and I'm the founder and director of the MindCap Center. We have a multidisciplinary approach with a team of about 8 people who work with children as young as 3 and with adults as old as 83. So I'm very excited to be with you. Dr. Lou Falick will be presenting a lot of the good theory and history behind the approach that we both so dearly love. I guarantee that when you walk away from the conference, you're going to be able to have tools that you can use immediately. So we will see you all June of 2025. Get your seat early so that we can meet in person, and I so look forward to our time together. Take care.
I believe there is no concept of disability. It's all about knowing your ability. We all are born with certain limitations, whether psychological or physical. But at the same time, we should know that what are our capabilities. Everybody has certain limitations and certain capabilities. So rather than focusing on the limitations, we should focus on knowing the true potential. If there is a limitation of vision, then you might be having a beautiful voice. You can speak well, then that should be your strength, that should be your capability, that's your ability, right? So there is no concept of disability. We should focus only on knowing and identifying our capabilities and abilities.
Mark your calendars for June 25th to 27th, 2025. Join us at the Sai Hira Global Convention Center in Prashanti Nilayam for the International Conference on Cognitive Education for Diverse Learners, the Missing Piece. Your participation isn't just attendance. It's a step towards a brighter, more inclusive future for all students. We can't wait to welcome you back. For more information, write to inclusion.pmo@sssvv.org. Together, Let's find the missing piece